Good morning. You're watching World Without Rule Law. Welcome to Southern Virginia. So, I don't know if I showed this, but I got the second bed built. I got some sticks put in it. I think one end dropped a little. I got to level it a little more. That's minor. Over here, I just want to show you a mistake that I made. So a couple of years ago, well, go back 3 years, I think, I planted this Santa Rosa plum, which is doing amazing. I actually planted two. The other one's right here. They may be a little bit close to each other. So that's a minor mistake, but I'm going to keep them pruned so that they don't get really big anyway. So I can manage that no problem. But a year or a year and a half later, I planted these elderberries. And you can see they're popping through everywhere. I've got them, like there's one. And I started with two little plants. So I planted one today. I moved it from the back. I don't know if it's going to take or not. I watered it in good. I'll keep it watered. When I originally planted these elderberries, the two that I planted were probably a third or a half of the size of that. They were half the height and they were just brand new. So the stalks, the stems weren't anywhere near as wide or as girthy as those. Trying to find one, like maybe it was equivalent to that one, but without all the leaves, and I don't even think the stalk was that thick. They were just brand new little starters. And so the mistake, of course, is, and this is where if you're a more experienced gardener, you would probably avoid this. But I was just starting out, really, and starting to build this food forest. And I jumped into it, and I kind of, it's all on me because I didn't do the proper research, or maybe kind of knew in the back of my mind, but didn't put it together because you're trying to visualize something when it's tiny. Well, the elderberry, it obviously multiplies substantially, and in 3 years, it got huge, and it's going to get huger now. I can keep it trimmed. But you see the problem here. It's growing really too close to that plum tree. And that big stalk, which is equivalent to that one that I just showed you, I pulled out of the dirt right there. You kind of see the dirt. And that one was growing, right up to here. So it was almost in that tree. Now this one over here is similar, right? It's going to be, by the end of this season, certainly it'll be smashing into that tree. Now what I did is I put this T-post in. I'm going to try to just take some jute twine and just pull these. So I'll show you a better perspective over here. Just try to pull everything so it goes like that, and put some pressure on it, that one in back too, so that as they grow, they'll start to just grow out that way, away from the tree. I'll just keep the twine on there, maybe just for this season. I'll have to see, but as the new ones pop through the ground, anything that pops through on, the way we're looking at it, to the right, to the tree side of the line, I'll just have to take out, or let them grow up and do the same thing, string them over. So worst come to worst, I'm going to have to go in here and just trim these and just take everything on this side out. And then I'll just encourage the new shoots and new growth like that right there just to be on this side. And I can, as I wood chip over further, I can encroach into this. Now this is my driving lane here, so to speak. So I'd like to keep the width to get the tractor and the trailer through here. Certainly that narrower watering trailer has to get in here. But I'd like to also be able to bring the landscape trailer in if I needed to move big stuff or do whatever. So I can encroach out a little bit, maybe right to about here, which if I square off with that bush and draw that line over, I can really come this way as far as I want, clean this mess up. I could still have as big an elderberry patch as I want. I just have to move it forward away from the trees. So again, my first attempt is going to be just to pull these, this one included, just to pull them over, put some pressure on them, see if I can get them to grow out. If not, I'll just have to heavily prune these bushes on this side, take out all the lower stuff on this side, and then just in the future just encourage the growth on that side, like I said. But my first attempt is going to be to do it this way, because I really don't want to pull up anything that's already growing, and I don't want to cut these 3-year-old branches. Well, 3 years ago the first thing was planted. These probably are only 2 years old, or possibly a year old. I wasn't here last year, so kind of walked away from me a little bit, but that's my goal. I got to control it, but I just want to show it to you. That's a mistake that I made being a newbie food forest permaculture enthusiast, and emphasis on the word enthusiast because I think I might have been a little more enthused than I had the knowledge to support. And so this is what happens, little mistakes. It's not the end of the world. One way or another I will correct it. But if anybody's watching and thinking of doing a food forest, I just encourage you to keep that in mind. And many of you are out there saying like, duh, like it's a no-brainer, and it should be, but it wasn't for me. So when you get those little seedlings and you see them in their little tiny 1-gallon pots or smaller, try to visualize a few years out how they grow out and how they multiply. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Any final words, Miney? Take care.